Welcome to the Living to Thrive with Cancer podcast. I'm Catherine White, holistic cancer coach and author. This is the place where we trade fear for hope, confusion for clarity, and overwhelm for empowered action. Whether you're newly diagnosed, living with cancer, or navigating life beyond it, each episode I'll share tools, insights, and real-life inspiration to help you create a life that feels good to live right now in the middle of it all. Let's thrive together. Welcome to episode 5.14 of the Living to Thrive with Cancer podcast. I'm Catherine White, your podcast host and cancer coach. In today's episode, I am talking with Anne Perry. Anne Perry is a colorectal cancer awareness advocate and the voice behind #TestForToby. Test for Toby is a movement dedicated to promoting early screening for colorectal cancer and saving lives through education and awareness. Anne founded Test for Toby in honor of her late husband and driven by her and her family's commitment to helping other families avoid the same loss. In today's episode, we will take a look at Anne's personal story related to her husband Toby's cancer diagnosis, why she created Test for Toby, and Anne's desire to increase how early screening can save lives. Welcome, Anne. I am so excited and grateful to have you here today.
Thank you so much for asking me.
It's just, I've been watching you on Instagram and following Test for Toby and then the stickers that we could talk about that when you talk about Test for Toby, and just was like, I have to meet this girl. And then it turns out that you're in Nova Scotia and I lived in Nova Scotia. And so I'm sure if we had a deeper conversation, we would find some mutual person that we know.
For sure. Yes, definitely.
It is the way of the Maritimes.
It is. Definitely is.
So we are here today to have you talk about Test for Toby and this very important message about colorectal cancer screening. And before we get into your message, I'm wondering if you would just be able to share with the listeners a little bit of an overview of your story and Toby's story and just the whole walk with cancer that helped you to arrive at this place.
My husband, Toby, was diagnosed with, he had to go in for a screening actually, due to a prior condition. And when he had his screening, he found out he had colorectal cancer. And that was in February of 2018. And right away, he had to go through radiation, which we did 6 weeks in the city, which was about 3 hours away. So we had to stay down there for 6 weeks, and we'd come home on the weekends. And he had 3 months off, and he went for his surgery. And during his surgery, which was supposed to be just clean it up and be all done, we found out that it had moved to his other organs. So he came out of surgery, started chemo right away. He did chemo for over a year, and he lost his battle in November of 2019. After he passed away, my children designed a sticker with a lobster, which represented what their father did for a living. And we intertwined the blue ribbon representing colorectal cancer through it. So it was to honor their dad, to give to their friends and put on the people's vehicles, we thought. And it just sort of went viral, and they came up with #TestForToby, and we started an Instagram account, and it's become a whole mission to raise as much awareness for colorectal cancer as we can. Other people, if they can see the symptoms, see the signs, and talk about it more, then that's all we can ask for. So
Yeah.
that's how it sort of started.
I really do love the work that you're doing and the intention behind it of just that honoring and remembering, and that it started as just this little kind of grassroots project. And now it's global. I see your pictures on Instagram, and I gave of your sticker. I gave a sticker to my husband who had a work trip to Ireland, and he put it outside of the Temple Bar on a post so that anybody who's walking in that main street will see the Test for Toby lobster. It was like just our way of giving back to you for the work that you are doing to raise awareness?
It means so much when people ask for stickers, and I've had it started just putting them in people's vehicles, in their back windows, and it was families and friends and that kind of thing. And it's just now people are like, "Do you got any stickers? Let's take them. We're going away on a trip," and we have them everywhere. So it's really really cool to see how far it's gone and how big. And a couple years ago, my brother-in-law helped me put a QR code. Is that what they're called? A QR code
Yeah.
in the sticker, so it will now people can click that and it'll take them to the information so that they can see right away truly what the movement is all about. So
That's
that, that's a lot better. So it's, and I've personally put them up in an airport and sat back and then watched people go up to it and use their phones and click it. So that meant like, I'm like, oh, it's working. So that's really great. So the
that,
kids take them with them everywhere they go. Now we have them in about, I'm going to say about 4 or 5 stores in the area that keep them. And every time I walk in, like once in a while, they're like, "Hey, we're out. We need more stickers." So it's like, yeah, people will leave donations for them. I use the donations to buy more stickers or to put towards the run, the push for your tush we do every year. So,
right. And
yeah,
we'll talk about that in a minute because
sure.
that's
Yeah.
part of the big picture.
Yes.
Yeah, and the lobster it is obviously in honor of Toby as a lobster fisherman.
Yes.
And just like so recognizable. It's just so recognizable.
That's been the first thing. I went on a trip with my friend last fall, and we were walking, and I was putting one on the telephone pole outside of a business, and 2 men were standing there, and I thought they were servers. It was inside of a restaurant, and they were like, "What's that all about? What's the lobster?" But so it was the lobster that they recognized first. Like, they were like, "What's the lobster all about?" And when I told them the story, and they were like, "Well, do you have any more?" And I was like, "Yes." And I gave them. They were the owners of the restaurant, and they were like, "We're putting this up. We're doing stuff." And when we walked back by, they had already posted one on the other side. So I was like, "The lobster is the lobster represents Americans perfectly. It represents him." And I mean, he was a fisherman his whole life. Lobster was the main focus of what he did, but he fished everything all year round. So, but the lobster is what gathers, no, it garners people's like attention right away. So that's great. And then with the sticker intertwined in it, the kids did a great job designing it. They were like, they come up with the idea right away. So they did, yeah, it was really good. So they did that and the test for Toby. So they were like, "Mom, that's a good one." And then we're like, "Okay."
That's a great idea. And the blue ribbon woven into that for listeners who don't know, the blue ribbon is blue is the color for colorectal cancer.
Yes.
And also just a shout out for that. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and this episode is airing in March, which is very timely. And so this whole conversation really, and Test for Toby, is bringing that awareness to colorectal cancer, which is, I always say that it's not a sexy cancer. People don't know about it a lot. It's kind of like, we're talking about poop. Yes, we are. Like we are talking about people's digestive systems, and it's not particularly glamorous, but
No.
what we do know is that colorectal cancer is one of the only cancers that is on the rise, particularly in younger people. And so Test for Toby, I just feel like is so important because it's so visible and because it's got the QR code on it. And, people who have no idea what colorectal cancer is can see it, scan it, and get educated, which is the whole mission behind for Test for Toby and Colorectal Cancer Canada and CRAN, all of these organizations that are building awareness, as you and I are right now.
Yes. Well, it's important to me because my children are of the age, and they were told where my husband was diagnosed younger that they should be checked by the time they're 30 to get their screenings done and everything. So that's been a huge deal with me, that we have to keep this going for them so that we raise awareness for their friends, for everyone to know, as they're younger, it's okay to talk about it. It's comfortable. Nobody wants to talk about their poop. It's funny how it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm like, if somebody brings it up to me and they'll be like, oh, I have a question. I'm like, well, what is your poop like? Like, and I'm like, I'll just ask you. Like, and I'm like, it doesn't, we can talk about it. It's okay. Like,
Yeah. Always look in the toilet. Always look and see what your poop looks like, because it is a clear indicator of what is happening on the inside. It's not a really pretty conversation, but the one that has to.
it really is. And it's the people just don't want to, they're uncomfortable talking about it, especially men. Men more so, like, that's been, I've had a good many conversations with people that are like, I've always tossed away my kit that has come when I was 50. And now listening to you or talking to you or seeing the stuff you post, and this, I did it this year. They're like, I did it. I sent it in. And I'm like, that's amazing. So it starts out with a small movement with family and friends and people who you just talk to, and they're like, they know you, so they're going to listen. But it's moved on to so much more than that, of people that I don't know and I've never met and I get to meet and talk to, like you. So that's it's just so important for me to keep it going, to keep raising the awareness and just keep posting the little things about the symptoms and the signs, and to be aware of the changes in their body. So
Yes. So for the listeners, if you are not already following Test for Toby, it's hashtag Test for Toby on Instagram. And I will put that in the show notes, so to remind people to go there. And it's just like the work that Anne is putting up, that you are putting up, is just that. It's like, this is what you need to be looking for. This is what signs are. This is what you can do, like get screened. And of course, working with Colorectal Cancer Canada, we are in the middle of this big, hashtag Screen at 45 campaign to really talk to our government officials about standardizing screening at the age of 45.
Yes, it's been, my children, we were told, where Toby was diagnosed younger, that they had to be screened by the time they were 30. My oldest is 33. He's been asking for at least 2 years now, and he just got a phone call from a doctor that they will call this spring and book his appointment. You still have to be an advocate for your own health. That's the hard part. And I've said to him and his wife, if you don't keep pushing for this, they're going to keep putting it off. So, and I said, it was told that we have to do this by the time you guys are 30. So we'll get one kid done, and then we'll get the other children started. So, yeah.
It is important. So my story, my dad died of stage 4 colon cancer at 63. And then I was told the standard of practice is screen 10 years younger than the parent. So I would have been 53, but I was 53 when I was diagnosed.
Don't you think that right there proves to us that we need it younger and younger, or the standard, if it is somebody diagnosed that close to us as a relative, like father or parent, that it should be at least 20 years that you are standard to get a screening done. Shouldn't even be a question.
Right. And yet it was. And that, you're talking a little bit about advocacy. Like, we really had to push for a diagnosis, because everyone just kept saying, you're too young. Like, yes, I'm young, but something's really wrong in my body, and we need to get on this.
And during one of the push free tush runs that we'll talk about later, I met a girl, and she was 27, and she was in remission. So she was doing really well, but she came to the run because of that. And I'm like, 27, like, it's, and there's so many stories of much younger than that. So,
yeah. And, it's not to create fear. This is the reality of what we are looking at. And so in this age of social media, and I find that our younger people are finding bigger voices, and they're more comfortable asking questions, and they're doing research and looking. So to empower them even further with this idea that you don't have to wait and you're allowed to ask questions. And here's the symptoms that you need to be looking for and take action is so important. My 26-year-old has been screened. He went in and said, this is my mom's story and her dad's story, and I want to be screened. And he got a colonoscopy. Like, faithfully, I know that doesn't happen for everybody, but given the family history, this doctor said, okay, like, let's get that done.
That's great.
A baseline, right? Now we know.
It should be a baseline, especially when backstory. My sister-in-law had a hearing problem at birth. So my children had to be tested at birth for hearing because of the proximity of, that. So why are we fighting to get a colonoscopy when it's, why does my son have to ask for 2 years to get his colonoscopy when his father was diagnosed and passed away with it? Like, and told by his surgeon at the time, our children should be tested at 30. So it shouldn't be a question. He shouldn't have to ask for it for 2 years. It should just be done.
Yeah. And I recognize, I think we said that, there's a financial aspect to this. It
is
screening. But there's I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but when you find cancer earlier, then you can proactively, work on the medical side of it. If you are screening younger, then you can find it proactively, and it is less expensive to have a colonoscopy and catch it or find that nothing is wrong than to go through the treatment process. That might feel a little controversial for some people, but it's a truth. The treatment process and all of the surgeries is an expense, an added expense on the system.
100%. And colorectal cancer is so treatable and beatable if caught early enough. So if we have this, if people are aware of their symptoms, they can go to the doctor and find out and just talk to them and then get the screening. We can avoid what is be way easier on our healthcare system.
Yes. So if you are receiving your FIT test in the mail, please do not throw it out. Please just do the FIT test. It is an initial tool for diagnostics, and then have conversations with your doctor beyond that.
I know a great many people that I've talked to that has had their initial, not diagnostic, their initial consultations because of their FIT tests, and they found it through that way. So I spoke to a man, and he had no idea anything was wrong, but when he sent his FIT test in, he was diagnosed with colorectal cancer right away. He had to come in. So to me, amazing. We're very lucky that we get those. So please don't throw them away.
Literally, you have to take a sample of your feces and you put it in an envelope and mail it away, and it's all weird for about 5 minutes, and then it's gone. It's gone.
Yep, and then it's no big deal. But at the time, I literally remember the first one I had to do, thinking, okay, literally putting my poop in the mail.
I think there should be a hashtag for that. No big deal.
No big deal. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good. You can add that too.
I'm using that.
I am gifting you that hashtag. No big deal.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use that one. No big deal.
I love it. I love that so much. So part of the work that you're doing is in Shelburne, Nova Scotia, where you live.
Yep.
Just a lovely little community on the South Shore of Nova Scotia. You are running, I think you said before we started, you think this is the 7th year?
This will be the 7th year, yeah.
Of the Push for Your Tush run through Colorectal Cancer Canada.
Yes.
And that is happening June the 13th.
Yes.
Okay, this is exciting. You tell us a little bit more about Push for Your Tush, how you got involved with it, and what's happened over the years with this amazing fundraiser.
Well, Push for Your Tush started for me personally when I was looking for information on colorectal cancer. And I saw it up during my husband's treatment process, and it was in Toronto. So I was like, oh, I want to go. Just wasn't feasible at the time to leave him when he was having treatments and everything else as his caregiver. So we didn't do it. And after he passed away, it was coming to Nova Scotia for the first time. And I was so excited because I thought, well, I'm definitely going. It's going to be in the city in Halifax. So that's about 3 hours away from us. And because we're farther on the South Shore in a small town. So that was the year we all got hit with COVID. So Push for Your Tush went virtually online. So I decided, great, I'll just do it from home and we'll do it virtually. So I'll raise money. And I put a goal of like $1,000 for myself to raise money for colon cancer awareness through Push for Your Tush. And my gym that I go to, Southwester Athletics, said, Ian, why don't we do it through the gym? We'll work with COVID restrictions and we'll do it with our members. And so we did it that fall that way. And it started out just through that with the gym, some family members, some small. It was great. Southwestern Athletics, my gym that I belong to, has been great supporter of this with me right along. They've been amazing. And we had a first small one and it worked out really good. It was really great run. We raised more money than I had anticipated. So I was kind of shocked. The next year, it was still virtually through COVID. So we did the same thing. Got a little bit bigger. We were allowed more numbers at the time. So it got a little bit bigger. And the next year, they were going live again. So we decided to move it to a bigger location. So we moved it up to the fire halls in the community. So we did that and it was a lot bigger. So it was really great. We had a lot of people come. We had a lot of support. We had a lot of people join in afterwards. We had our MLA. We had, other people that came and spoke. It was great. We have a DJ. We had a balloon lady. We have a face painter. So the kids, it's a family, it's a whole event with the family. So, which is what it should be because it's meant to raise awareness for colorectal cancer. And I want everybody involved to see what that's for. And little things, to make it a fun day for everybody to see that. So it's grown from there. The next year, Colon Canada asked if they were going to do it in Halifax. And they asked me if I would like to come to Halifax to help organize the event. And I thought about it and I thought, no, I don't think I would because we've done it in Shelburne in this small town area right from day one. And it's worked out really well. And I think it's important to keep it here where everybody has helped me. And I mean, if Push for Your Tush was in Halifax, that's a great, that's amazing and great to have it everywhere because I know we have it in way more cities across Canada now than we did at the time. But Colon Canada said, okay, so you think it should be there and it's going so good, let's keep it in Shelburne and we'll keep it there for Nova Scotia. And I thought, amazing. So we've kept it here. We raised over, I think last year we were over 30,000 for colon cancer awareness. So, and I'm not positive, but I think it may have been third highest in the country. So, and I mean, that's behind Montreal and Toronto and huge cities with a lot of support and little old Shelburne on the South Shore of Nova Scotia. The money is a huge part of it to help with them getting out awareness and their campaigns and all that stuff. And that's great. But to me, the run means so much more than that because it has grown to be families that come and other people and other survivors and their groups. So we have teams that I have met with their survivors or somebody who has passed away from the disease. And that has been huge. Like that to me is it's so important and so huge to keep that awareness going that way. So, and they're like, we're coming back next year with a bigger team and we've told so-and-so, and we've had ones come from other provinces all around Nova Scotia now. So there was a lady who last year decided to do the 10K instead of the 5, and she walked the whole thing. And we stayed there till the end. Everybody was long gone. And I was like, I'm leaving up the balloons. I'm leaving up the stuff. The DJ had left. Everybody had left. And she come walking through and she was so proud to do that. And I thought, it took her so long, and she was a little weak at the end. And I thought, this is amazing. It's just an amazing story when people get to do that. So,
For the people that are in the event, as you said, like there's so many people who have been touched by colon cancer, colorectal cancer, and it's not a huge, it's getting bigger in the world of fundraising and awareness, but to have it in it's just so Nova Scotian that, to have it in a small community and people are like, well, of course I'm going to show up. And of course I'm going to more people. Like it's just that family type feeling. And to stay for that lady and do that is just a testimony to exactly why the run is there. It's for everybody, and we honor everybody and their story and why they're doing it, and see them through to the end.
and there's so many people that I know personally, and I didn't know they were affected by it. So that to me, to bring it up and to bring more awareness to it, so they can talk about it and share it with everybody else. Then they share their story. It gets their story out. They can share it with somebody. So somebody else is like, well, wait, I've got something that doesn't quite feel right. So, I just want people to talk about it more, to bring it up more, that's all. I just want people to be aware of the signs, the symptoms, so that they can see, oh, hold on, maybe I should go talk to somebody about this.
Yes. Yes. And I think your event and your hashtag test for Toby and the stickers and the QR code, you're just doing so much beautiful work in this world of colorectal cancer. And again, I see you on Instagram all of the time. And I, as a stage 4 colon cancer thriver myself, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing, because the conversations are starting, the momentum is building, and people are starting to have the conversations around screening and taking care of themselves.
I love the word thriver for you.
Thank you. It's just been like right from the beginning. It was like, I didn't want it. I remember saying to my husband, like, I don't want to be known as Catherine, the cancer survivor. And then this thriving came through, and it's just like, this is, and that's what part of my mission, just to weave my mission into all of this, is to change how people see cancer, to change the narrative around cancer itself. As soon as you tell somebody got cancer, you get the face of that, oh, that's so, when it's like, okay, yes, it's not fantastic, but still here, still working really hard. And the conversation around stage 4 metastatic cancer, there are a lot of people living beyond their diagnosis. They are living through stage 4 colon cancer. And I think that's part of my message to get out, is that everybody's story is different, and everybody's, how they work through it is different, but we need to have the conversations, and we need to change the conversations around cancer.
That's the important part to me, I guess, is the sticker started just in memory of my husband. And then it sort of evolved for the test for Toby. And I thought it was important to post awareness and symptoms. Then it went to the run, and that's been a huge part of this. But to me, it's been important to keep this going, because Toby lost his battle, and you always have the thoughts in the back of your head. What if we had found it earlier? What if we had done this? What if we had done something different? But it's so important for me to get my children tested. So I want to keep this awareness going, so that they're taken care of, and other people their age are taken care of, and they don't, if we can just help somebody, that they don't have to go through all this, just a little bit. Even if we got a couple people that it's like, I found out, and I found it earlier, so I'm okay. Like, they've done the treatments, they've got through this. That's why it's important to me. The phone call just with my oldest son just came through. So that's why this has been like, okay, thank you. Like, I just want to get them tested and checked and everything. So they'll hate me bringing this up, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. It's a mother's love, right? We want to
Well, that's why I do this. It's important for me, for my kids, to move this forward for my own children and for everybody else. I just want it to be talked about. I just want everybody to, yeah, okay, we check that. So,
yeah. Well, it all started with a conversation. And this conversation started with a sticker that I saw on Instagram.
with
So
a sticker. So that was great.
it's perfect. I have one more question for you.
Mhm.
I ask this of every guest, and that is, what does living to thrive mean to you?
Well, I thought about this, and living to thrive to me probably means a little bit different than it did maybe 10 years ago. But right now it means to me to live, to be happy, to see those moments and to enjoy the little moments that we have that you might have taken for granted before. Um, you always just have to stop and try to see the good parts of the best things. If I see something now that maybe I might have stepped over before, and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. That's worth really remembering this little piece of what's happening today. Like, that's a good thing. I always say to some of my friends I told here recently, I was like, we all have a choice every morning when we wake up to be happy or to. So you have to really take that and be like, okay, smile. Let's make the best of today. That's all we've got. So I saw a meme the other day that meant the world to me. And you may have shared this, and I wasn't sure, I'm not sure right now, but it says we only live once. And it says wrong. We only die once. We live every day. And I thought that's so true. So you always have to remind yourself of this stuff over and over. Everybody does, because everyone is going through something. So you have to remind yourself of that every day. So I try to wake up, and not every day, because every day every day is different and you're all struggling with something. So to me, thriving, that's what thriving would mean to me, is trying to take a step back, even when you're not feeling the greatest or having an issue, and trying to see what's important and what's worth seeing and remembering. I wanted to say that I've done something important, maybe. So if me being able to bring a little bit of awareness to colorectal cancer, I'll take that every day, because the awareness just, yeah, I'll take that little bit of feeling like I've done something. Mhm. And if it is in his memory, all the better.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It's it is heartfelt work, and on behalf of all of the colorectal cancer survivors, thank you for doing this very heartfelt, beautiful, and important work. It's it's beautiful work that you're doing, Anne.
I don't think of it that way. I just think of trying to do something for, I guess, my kids and everybody else. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for asking me to talk about this and stuff. Yeah, this is great. So thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm so grateful that we were able to connect. And I said this to you before we came on. I'm going to try really hard to get to Shelburne this summer for that push for your tush. Like, it's now on my list. And like, okay, I need to make that happen, because the Maritimes is a little bit of home for me. And I feel like when you make these connections with people, it's really nice to make them again in person. So
It really is. And I've made quite a few connections with people through the run, and through the sticker, but then through the run too. So it's been really great. And watching my kids work right alongside me with it has been amazing. It's my grandchildren are very involved. So last year, my oldest grandchild is 5, and last year, one of the pictures, because we have friends who are photographers who have helped me through. I couldn't do the run without my friends and family. Like, they've done so much to help. But she has taken these pictures, and she got a picture of my granddaughter, who would have been 4 at the time. She worked at the water station with her mom, and there's a picture of her there, and she has on the back of her shirt, like, I run tests for Toby, for Grampy, it says, or something. And there's a picture of her holding up 2 little water jugs held up for the runner to come. And it is the cutest, like, it's the sweetest. And I thought that embodies the whole thing, like, embodies the whole run of it. So it's family and the focus, and she's, for her to be able to grow up and the kids to grow up into this, like, that's pretty cool to help with that. So
I love that. I'll have to see
yeah,
that picture somewhere.
I'll have to send it to you because it's the sweetest picture. And Colton Canada used, when they put on this year, they used one of her pictures of her in her background with it. That was the picture they used, and her with her little red-headed pigtails, like, so it was
I
really
might
cute.
have seen that picture. I will definitely.
That's my granddaughter. So
And there is the legacy right there. Right?
that's the important part of it, is we all get to do that. So that's meant the world to me. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best in the run this year. And if people wanted to get stickers, would they be able to reach out to you and get stickers to share?
Definitely. I would love to I've sent stickers to people I've met overseas. I've sent them to you. I've sent them to a lot of friends, to a lot of, there's been a few. I've had a few in Ontario, but there was a lady in England. There was a lady in overseas in a different country. So yeah, I will send them everywhere.
Perfect. I'll share your information in the show notes, and people can reach out to you directly and get their Test for Toby stickers to share around the world.
I'd love that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anne, so much for being here today and for sharing your story and Test for Toby with the listeners. As I said, I'm going to share your information in the show notes so that they can find you and follow you at #TestForToby on Instagram. And just to the listeners, if you found what you learned here today to be useful, please share it with other people. That helps Anne to spread her message of awareness and education around colorectal cancer. And it helps me to reach more of you who are also looking for support in the background. We are advocating for screening to be lowered to the age of 45 in Canada. So if you can have a conversation with somebody around that screening conversation that is happening through Colorectal Cancer Canada on Instagram and Facebook, that is a really good initiative that Colorectal Cancer Canada is taking to the government of Canada. And we both just want to remind you to be aware of your body, talk to your doctor if things happen, and advocate for yourself, because screening saves lives. And if you've enjoyed the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe, and wherever you're listening, follow me on YouTube. And you can head to the show notes to get your name on my weekly email list to stay up to date on episodes like this that are coming out and other things that I'm doing in my world to support people who are living with cancer. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and may you live your life to your fullest, follow your heart, and thrive in all you do.